Hi everyone, my name is Emily and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about the author Kate Dicamillo. So who is Kate Dicamillo? Kate Dicamillo is a children's and young adult author. She has written over 20 different books including children's and young adult fiction and picture books, and she's also created a book series for younger readers. So with that, in this presentation, you're going to learn a little bit more about who she is, different fun facts about her, as well as where she gets her inspiration for her writing and the process of her becoming a writer and her writing. And so with that, I'm just going to keep on going. Let's go. So a little bit about Kate Dicamillo. Kate Dicamillo was born on March 25th, 1964 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Which makes her 55. She currently resides in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and so that's where she lives. She does not have kids and she's not married, but she does have a dog named Henry, and she has a few nieces and nephews. When she was 5 years old, her family moved to Claremont, Florida. Now, they moved there for a reason. She grew up having chronic pneumonia, and so her physician decided that it was better for her family to maybe move down somewhere that was warmer, and that would help the cases and the amounts of times that she had pneumonia. So that's why they moved down there. When they moved down there, it was her and her mom and her brother. They moved down to Florida, and her dad, who was a dentist, was supposed to visit them, and instead he never showed up. So she grew up without a father figure in her life. When she got older, she ended up attending and graduating from the University of Florida in 1987 with a Bachelor's of Arts in English, which this will help her later on to get her degree, or her, I'm sorry, not her degree, but her publications and things. When she was done with college, she went on to do a lot of different odd jobs. She actually worked at Disneyland for a short period of time, different garden centers around her campsites, and also wrote for different magazines, just like little tiny things in magazines as well. But she knew all along throughout that she wanted to be a real writer. So she started trying to become a writer, and so she actually gained over 400 different rejection letters from different publishing companies before finally getting her first publishing deal. And that number is actually 473 different rejection letters, and that all happened within 6 years, which is crazy to know that she failed so many times, but that she's now a published author is amazing to me. The one that's on the left right here is actually one from, I think, a magazine company, I believe, and they told her, if you can see right down there, it says, "Will you try us again?" And she said that really helped her to just kind of keep pushing on and realizing that, even though that wasn't the time, that she knew that she was still supposed to be an author. So she didn't actually start writing books, though, until she was 30 years old, and today, she forces herself to always write 2 pages a day, and that's from Ducksters.com. So this video explains a little bit more about why Kate wanted to be a writer and the journey that it took her on. So we're just going to go ahead and take a look at that. So, where does her inspiration come from, and how did she actually become an author? Well, like she stated in that video, she went to college and she decided to take an expository writing course. And I found this quote from her website where she was talking about how she became a writer. And she said, "At the time, I was convinced that I was a real writer, an undiscovered Dora Weltley or William Faulkner. Understand, I had absolutely no interest in writing. I wanted to be a writer, and so I put off the work of the essay until the last possible moment." And so, reading a little bit further, I actually got to read the story, and she gains a lot of her inspiration from where she meets people and how she interacts with people. She talks about that essay, exactly that essay, and how she waited until the last possible moment to write a 500-word essay. It wasn't that long. And so she went into the local Winn-Dixie supermarket store, and as she was walking out, there was an older African-American lady singing, and she decided, okay, I'm going to write about her. And so she wrote in so much detail, just talking about, seeing the person and the detail. And I just find that really, really amazing that she's able to do that in her writing. When talking about like where she gets her inspiration from, not only from interacting with people, but also her childhood, in the Clarion, she talked about how she spent her childhood outdoors in bare feet, playing with the neighborhood kids and reading, usually in a treehouse in my backyard. She loves to read, and that just encourages her and her readers to keep reading, because it helps her not only to become a better reader, but to become a better writer and to look outside and look at the world around you. So that's where she gets a lot of her inspiration, is from interacting with the world around her. So her writing process is really, really cool. I would honestly use this if I was becoming a writer. I'm not, but who knows, maybe in the future. But I think that this is a great process that she has set up. So she talks a lot about writing, rewriting, reading, looking, listening, and then believing in yourself. So this is from her actual website. And I'm just going to go ahead and read this because I think it kind of speaks for itself, and then I'll elaborate a little bit. So, right, this may seem like an obvious piece of advice. There are a lot of people, and I was one of them for a long time, who didn't think somehow they could become a writer without doing the work of writing. Make a commitment to yourself to write a little bit every day. So, like I said before, she writes 2 pages a day. Rewrite. You can't expect to sit down and expect something golden and beautiful and wise to spring forth from your fingers the first time you write. You can, however, responsibly expect a piece of writing to get better each time you rewrite it. So she's saying just go ahead, she has to rewrite all the time, because if you're writing, then you're going to rewrite. Then she says read. You have no business wanting to be a writer unless you're a reader. Like I said, she reads all kinds of different genres, so she really encourages people to read and write. And she does the same. She reads a lot and then writes as well. And then she encourages fellow writers and herself to look around the world around you, pay attention to the details, and then listen to people when they talk. It gives a great story. Like I said, she listened to the person at the Winn-Dixie store, and she started writing her 500-word essay right then. And then believe in yourself. I think that's all it takes. She says there's no right or wrong way to tell a story. This is just one reason that writing is so wonderful and testifying. If you find yourself in your own way, be kind to yourself. Listen to other people, and then strike out on your own. So she has a lot of popular books, of course, because of Winn-Dixie. That was her first published book. It's centered around a young girl named Opal and a dog that she meets in the local Winn-Dixie supermarket store. And so she decides to name the dog Winn-Dixie. And it's centered around loss and trying to understand loss as well, kind of around her own life. and it was made into a movie in 2005, which is a really good movie as well. Mercy Watson, which is this one right here, is part of her Easy Reader series. And then The Miraculous Journey of Edward T. Lane. I actually, when I was in first grade, we got to read this book, and it was amazing, and I hope one day I can pass that along. And then The Tale of Despereaux was made into a film in 2008, and then Rainy Nightingale is kind of centered around her own life. It's about a girl whose father, he's a dentist, doesn't show back up in Florida, and it seems really interesting, and I'd love to read it. She's gotten a lot of awards, as you can see. She actually is one of 6 people to hold 2 Newbery Awards for The Tale of the Despereaux and Flora and Ulysses. She has an honor award for Newbery, the Boston Globe Horn Book, the Theodore Gazelle Medal and Award, and she's a national ambassador for young people's literature, which is really amazing to see as well. So she got to tour all over the world, all over the States, I should say, talking about her books. So this is a quote from her. It says, "No matter what you do, when you tell a story, you reveal yourself, whether you intend to or not. But I think that I have become ever more revealing with each book." And I think that this is really cool because it shows that as a writer and like as students who are writing, that they're going to have to kind of share who they are even if they don't want to through their characters. And she's doing that, and she's being very vulnerable. And I just find that really amazing to see. And I see that in her writing. I've read a few of her books, and it's just amazing to see that. So, how can Kate Dicamillo's work enrich students' lives? Kate Dicamillo's books can help students find a way to express loss, absence of a parental figure, friendship, as well as hope and the future throughout the characters that she creates. Like I said, a lot of her characters are kind of centered around what she went through as a child, and it puts these heavy subjects into something that kids can read and understand and express, and I love that. It can also encourage students to read more and to write more. I mean, if you pull up a video of her, she's talking about reading constantly. Like, she loves reading. So, honestly, you could do something in your classroom where you talk about the fact that, reading is important because it helps to build on, vocabulary and their writing, and it's super important. And then lastly, it can also help students see that you can do anything you put your mind to. She knew she wanted to be a writer, and yeah, it took her a little bit of time to get there, but eventually that's what she ended up doing, and now she's pursuing that career full time, and it's amazing, and she's impacting so many people while she's doing that. So these are just my references, and I really hope you guys were able to learn a little bit more about who she is. Thanks for watching.